Hey guys, Gareth97 again. This time with a review of the 144 scale high-grade Universal Century Blue Destiny Unit 1 from the Blue Destiny Side Story video game. And starting off with the colors, this is a pretty accurate thing for the most part. We have light blue for a lot of the limbs, then we have dark blue for the body, the bottom of the feet, the backpack and the head. Then we have gray for the hands, the joints, and for the accessories. And those are pretty much all the colors we're getting. For the visor, we're getting clear. And that is the biggest disappointment of this kit. The visor, if you want to give him the exam system look, you're gonna need a sticker for that. Hell, because the visor is clear, you're even gonna need a sticker for the regular look. But before we get on to that, I have to point out one thing, and even though this thing looks completely color accurate, when you actually look very closely, you will see that the feet and also the backpack are supposed to be slightly darker than the rest of the body. However, in this release, they're just the same color. So it's not a big deal, and you're definitely not going to notice it, but if you want to be completely 100% accurate, you're going to have to give those things a quick paint job. Then on with the stickers. As I've already said, those are the visor, and even though they're shiny, once you put them on the head, it's not that super shiny. And the worst of it all is there is some really nice detail under there. Quickly gonna grab the gym custom here, and it's almost pretty much identical to the gym custom here, and quickly gonna focus on that because you would normally have this very nice detail underneath, but now we're just getting a clear normal visor with a sticker on there. That's really disappointing, and if you're gonna get this, I highly recommend that you paint it, which I'm definitely gonna do in the long run. Now, for other stickers, we get a few that are completely to be expected. We have one for the main camera, one for the back camera. Of course, you get them in both red for the exam system and green for the normal mode. Then, moving on, we have a small red and black triangle there, and on the kneecaps, and on the chest. Then the red ones here for the thrusters, and the unfortunate thing here is these stickers seem to be slightly too long, and as you can see on, if I can grab a hold of this, here we go, I had to cut this piece off, and when you, let's see, was this side, and when you look at it, that's about right. Maybe I cut off a bit too much, but you can see that it was definitely somewhat too long. Also, the lines don't really seem to line up with the structure of the part itself. So those stickers could have been a bit better. Then the other stickers we're getting, the one on the bottom of the chest, and the two white ones there, and those are almost all stickers we're getting. I forgot, let's see, these ones that went on top, one here and one on the other side. And then the final big sticker is for the ammo of the machine gun. Funny thing is, the sticker is white, the ammo pack itself is the light blue, and then the ammo packs on the mobile suit itself are dark blue. Talk about consistency. Talking about consistency, you can see that this is the that is the ground gym's machine gun, but when we have a quick look at the manual here, what oh what could that machine gun be? Well, that is the bullpup machine gun that is used by the Gym Command ground type and the Gym C. Consistency. But the final stickers we're getting are much nicer. Once again, gotta grab a hold of this, and we're getting one big one and one small one, 01 for on the shoulder, and then the big one is for on the shield. Now, I'm once again gonna nitpick a bit here. When we look at the cutscene again, you can see that he's supposed to have two of the small ones, and then one big one to go on the shield. So, well, it would have been nice if they included an extra one to put on the right shoulder, though looking at the image, doesn't seem like the big 01 is even supposed to be on the shield when we go via the game. But hey, that's just a bit nitpicking. As it is, it's pretty nice that we're getting these, and they definitely look really nice, and they add that little bit extra to this machine. Then going on with the articulation, head goes up, down, rotates around all the way, and has a little bit of chicken movement going on. Of course, since it's on a ball joint, will also wiggle around and do everything a ball joint does. Arms rotate around all the way, go up really nicely on just the shoulder, and then the arm itself goes up quite nice. And it's definitely not hindered all that much by this piece here. I'm putting that down again, and also a bit backwards and forwards, pretty nice. Rotates around below the shoulder, bends at the elbow at 2 joints for a fantastic joint. Hands are on ball joints, will wiggle around, turn around, and do everything a ball joint does. Waist rotates around about that far until it hits the crotch piece, and if you extend it about that far, like that far, you can get into rotate around all the way if you're careful. Then moving on with the legs, the front skirts are molded together but can be separated. Legs go up very nicely backwards until they hit the back skirt, about that far, then go out quite nicely like that. And when we look underneath the skirt, which fell off earlier, see that it has the usual jiggle movement, but this one seems to be particularly loose, partly because it's not connected with a poly cap, but it's just plastic rubbing against plastic. This is one of the earlier designs, and I'm really glad they changed to the poly cap, because this is just a bit too loose, and it can be a bit annoying when you're trying to pose them and you want to move the legs and you just move the entire thing around. As you can see, I'm just trying to move the leg. I'm not even trying to move that. And then you have a cover, which I've been trying to remove while I was talking, to reveal. Drastic times require drastic measures. There we go. To reveal a hole for an action base. And the real cool thing is the cover piece here doesn't hinder the movement whatsoever. Then the legs, well, the knees bend at 2 joints for a fantastic joint, so that's really, really good. The feet don't really go a lot backwards because they do have that giant piece here, which is connected to the foot and isn't really going anywhere. Forwards a lot more, significantly more, all the way like that. I'll go side to side a bit, and then we'll also rotate around. And unlike what you might think, there's no real extra hinge here. It's just the ball joint at the top. Then the toe joint, which only goes up and nothing down. Would have been cool. And then the foot guard goes up and down. So that means that all in all, the articulation is really, really well done. Something that unfortunately is a bit of a letdown are the accessories. And let's immediately get on with them. Something you might have noticed is that this hand here does not come with a hand cover. It's not because I lost one, it's because we only got 2 of them for the 3 hands included. Yeah, all 3 hands included. So let's have a look at what's on him right now. We have a right holding hand, which is used for the beam sabers, which are stored very nicely. Simply pop this thing off, and it's not really a mechanism. You simply take it out and then you put it into a different gap. So it's nothing mechanical going on, but really that wasn't expected. I mean, they were definitely going to do like this. So either you put it all the way down there or you put it up there a bit higher. And then we'll reveal the beam saber. You of course get 2 of them, 1 in each leg. When you take it out, it's put in there with this peg. You have a hole on the beam saber, and then you try to put it in there. There we go, and that stays surprisingly well. It's very well done. What isn't as well done is we put said beam saber in there, we hold said mobile suit upside down, and there it goes. We're only getting 3 hands, so you'd better make bloody sure that what we're getting actually works. Also getting 2 very nice dark pink beam sabers. And unfortunately, once we put those in, the beam saber is gonna fly in all directions other than the one you want. So that is kind of a letdown. This is the only beam saber holding hand included, and it doesn't even seem to function properly. Not even when I put all of my force into squeezing it, it's still just dangling along. Hold him upside down a bit, or hold it a bit to the side, and that thing is just gonna fall out. So that is a big, big disappointment. Like I said, this is the only beam saber holding hand we're getting. Why not give us a left beam saber holding hand? Heck, I could have been okay with the beam saber holding hands being a bit floppy if at least we got a left holding hand. Instead, what we're getting is a left action gimmick hand, because this isn't a normal hand, and when it's just in a neutral position, it looks a bit awkward. It's great for what it's supposed to do, but in any other pose, this is just gonna look weird. Do you walk around the street like this? I don't either. So that's a disappointment. Then the other hand we're getting, probably already guessed it, that's the one for the bullpup machine gun. Jesus, that's the one it technically should have come with. But this does, of course, make a hell of a lot more sense since, you know, he's got the extra ammo on his hip. So it's the usual machine gun. We have a movable stock, movable extra handle, though with this guy, he can technically pretend he's holding onto it, but that's, of course, not going to hold. What this is, however, made for is holding it from the bottom or pretending that he's reloading, and that's what it does really well. With the exception of one small thing, these hands do not actually grip onto the ammo packs. So he can't really hold an ammo pack like, oh, I just took one out and I'm going to put it in there. They just fall out. It's not even close. I mean, this one is thicker because it has a sticker on it. Wait, what? So, there we go. Well, I guess the sticker is getting a bit loose. So sometimes he likes to hold it, but normally, well, I guess he can hold on to the one with the sticker. So I tried it with these ones, which are very hard to remove. They can be removed, technically, but they're on there with a giant aspect. I mean, when you look at the bottom of this, that's a really big peg, and once they're on there, they're not really going to come loose. So apparently, this one can be used sometimes when you find that sweet spot, which I found just a second ago. So depends on if he can find sweet spot or not, then he can hold on to that. So that's, like I said, a nice gimmick, but it would have been really cool to just get a normal left holding hand. Then the final accessory we're getting is the shield. Very nice ground Gundam, ground gym shield. And because the arms have a weird shape going on here, this is a non-standard thing. We have this extra thing sticking out. We have the peg, so it goes in there. And then this one, this older system where it slides in, and it's not always as secure as the newer ones that use this system. It's not as bad as the ground Gundams, which have like no friction at all, so they definitely improved it, but this still could use a bit of improvement. So at this stage they were getting there. Simply put it in there and that just looks great, goes in really well, and it blends together really well with that extra thing on the arm. As always, the inevitable question is, do you want to buy this? In general, absolutely yes. However, you gotta take into account those few minor issues with this guy. So essentially, my opinion of this model kit seems to be pretty much the same as my opinion about the video game. It's fantastic, but it just lacks those little extra things that would have made it perfect. So we have a kick-ass color scheme, really badass, and also, I haven't mentioned this yet, but this looks like one of the more realistic Gundam color schemes out there. And yes, this is a Gundam, he just has a gym head. So this is definitely one of the most realistic colored Gundams out there. No shiny colors, more subdued. Yes, the blue could still be a bit toyish, but overall a very kick-ass color scheme. Articulation is simply fantastic. Also, when you take into account the time, the articulation has aged very, very well, with only a few things that would have been improved with more modern technology, mainly a bit more movement in the ankles, and the waist would have also been, well, the hips would have been a bit more movable, but that's all of it. The few parts where it could have improved are, as I've said before, the visor. Just give us a red one, give us a green one, and if you want to cater to the modding guys, or, well, modding, I'm just the painter guys, or the guys who want to give it a custom visor color, just include the third clear one. So just give us a visor, it's only a few extra parts. And finally, the accessories. Now, I'm not gonna complain about not giving us a bullpup machine gun, because that seems to be a problem the game has rather than a problem with the model, because on the cover art it does have the ground Gundam machine gun, but in the game he has the bullpup machine gun. Putting that aside, they should have given us more hands. Why not? I mean, we have an awkward open left hand if it's just next to the body. That looks really awkward, so you're pretty much forced to have a position like this, or kind of tuck it away behind a shield like, oh, nobody can see it. And the right beam saber holding hand doesn't really seem to work all that well as we would have wanted, so that could have used just a bit of improvement as well. And if those things would have been improved, this kit would have been perfect. So I guess the moral of the story is paint a visor, grab some extra hands, and this kit is fantastic without any problems. So I guess that's really the good news. All of the problems can be easily fixed if you're just willing to put a bit of extra effort into it, and I guess a bit of extra money to get some extra hands. So overall, absolutely yes, this is a fantastic kit. And well, I guess you also have to do a bit of painting on the bottom of the feet and the back rack if you want to get absolute perfection. But like I said, definitely pick this up. And did I mention it has the exam system? Hey, red shining eyes, extra badassery. Finally, for some size comparisons, here he's next to his close relatives, the Ground Gundam and the Ground Gym. And when we put the Ground Gundam in a normal pose, you can see that they are about the same size, with the Blue Destiny just being a tad bigger. And of course, he is definitely smaller than the Ground Gym, because that thing was slightly disproportionate in the bigger way. And putting these guys aside, and then here he is next to one of his teammates, according to the video game. Because according to the cover art, his teammate should be piloting normal gyms. But according to the video game, they're gym commands. And this Zaku is definitely looking slightly worried at that exam system that's going on. And you can see, once again, he seems to be just a tad bigger, like a few millimeters max. Then let's put the worried Zaku away, and it's time for these similarly colored machines, the Gym Sniper 2, and as you can see, they have a very similar color scheme going on. Even the light blue, the dark blue, almost identical. Well, I mean the way the colors are put, not the colors themselves. It is light blue and light blue, but they're still definitely different. But I definitely like the thing that's going on here. And finally, let's compare next to two other badass and also more realistically colored mobile suits. The Titan mobile suits here next to the Gym Quell and the Mark II. As you can see, it's not quite as dark as the other two, but he can definitely fit in amongst them. And it's also badass, more bulk. So to wrap things up here, here is next to the Zaku 3. And that's all for this review of this fantastic mobile suit. Definitely pick it up, and let's all look forward to how they're gonna represent this guy in the new Gundam game. See you guys next time.